When you're new to these situations, when you're trying to break patterns, when you're trying to be different than what it was before, a question people have is, well, what do you say? Can you give me words to use? Now, these are template words, and what I would hope that you would do is decide which one of these phrases is most likely to help you get through it. Remember that Walking with Dignity is about the fact that you are noticing that the Spirit has left the conversation. These scripts are not created in an effort to control, although you may be accused of that. These scripts are for you to focus on your response. When you handle it wrong, you now have two things to deal with. You have the original problem, and now you have your own frustration with your own behavior that needs to be addressed. When walking with dignity, it should be done while looking in the mirror and not throwing daggers on the way out and pointing out what the other person's doing wrong. You've got to be going, okay, what's going on for me? And when you retreat with dignity, must be a promise to return and follow through with that promise, mostly to yourself, because there's going to be times when you're not going to be able to get him to promise anything in particular. My mindset is not allowing me to continue this conversation, so that's a phrase. I find that I am not maintaining a good mindset. These all can be the result of what he does wrong first, but it doesn't help to point that out in the moment. It's legitimate to point out your trigger response that you're not responding too well as the reason for leaving. I'm starting to feel a lot of emotions and I need a break. This one's really helpful for us men. The frustrating thing about feelings is you can say, I'm scared, but I'm also sad. But by the time you say I'm scared, there's no time to say I'm also sad. And by the way, I'm also worried and I'm also afraid. So there's like 7 emotions, but people don't listen to all 7. I'm starting to feel escalated and it's best if I take a time out. These are beautiful. What makes me sad is if the man is still like holding himself as a greater than thou. I'm over here being completely calm and mellow while you're over there being messed up in the head. That tells me that we're dealing with a man who's not very self-aware. If he's not self-aware and he's capitalizing on what's going on for you, that's a double whammy for me. Like, okay, he's still got plenty of things to work on. If you try to re-engage and he's still holding that position of I was fine while you were crazy, then he's not ready for a season 1 effort. He's got to have enough humility to at least find one thing wrong with his involvement in the interaction, right? But it's appropriate for you to maintain safety by drawing a line in the sand or a boundary that says, I respect that you're a developing human being. I respect that you have growth to do, but I'm not going to get in your airplane. I'm not going to put more trust in you until this part is fixed, or at least significantly addressed. You have a right to not put your heart and soul into a relationship that you don't trust. And then we say, please be the nicest roommate you can, but don't be a wife. John Gottman, one of my favorite scientists behind relationship study, it's my understanding that in his office, during sessions, you have to wear a finger clip that measures your pulse. It beeps at 100 beats per minute. If one or the other starts beeping, everyone has to go quiet until it stops beeping. So the rule is you just stop talking, and then like, well, what are we supposed to do now? Well, it's beeping, and you're looking at yours beeping, you go, well, can I go get a glass of water? Because it's kind of awkward for me to just sit here with everybody while it's beeping. Sure, go get a glass of water, go for a walk, go do something. We're just not going to continue the conversation. According to him, approximately 100 beats per minute is a representation that you've had a chemical reaction that's elevating your brain into a fight, flight, freeze animal response instead of a frontal lobe response. It's really cool science. I've never actually done it in my office, but I've been tempted to do it sometimes because some people can keep a really calm body while their heart rate is much louder. How does that work with not telling them what to do? This reminds me of like, what if you go to an amusement park and you want to ride a certain ride, and they say, if you want to ride this ride, you have to wear a seatbelt like this, and it's going to hold you in place. And you say to them, you can't tell me what to do. Well, you came to me wanting to be a part of what we do here, and so I'm telling you what's necessary. You don't have to ride this ride. You don't have to be in a relationship with me. So when you do these boundaries types things, you're not telling them what to do. You're telling them, if you want this, if you want me to be a trusting person with you, if you want me to be vulnerable with you, if you want me to be intimate at any level, verbally, cognitively, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, and or physically, that's not telling someone what to do. It's telling them what is necessary in order for something to move forward.